Who do you know in your hotel or restaurant who sends emails at 3 o'clock and brags about only needing 4 hours of sleep? There's always someone. And if you're sitting here thinking, I don't know anybody like that, well, it might just be you. It sure as hell was me. But here's the real question. When did burnout become something that we wear like a badge of honor? And what's it actually costing us? Not just in productivity, but in people. So together, we're going to unpack this. So listen to the end, as I'd like to invite you to join me on a conversation. Now, I'm not here today to talk about another stress management checklist or a once-a-year wellness workshop that companies like to roll out. I'm here to shed real new light on well-being and authentic leadership through self-actualization. Now, my name is Tim Wagner. I'm an international speaker and high-performance coach, but I didn't always used to have that title. In fact, years ago, I was a burnt-out manager, possibly like you are now. I lived the high-performance, high-pressure leadership life for 27 years, in fact. And I also lived through the spiral that comes when you're too busy helping everybody else thrive and you forget to check in to see if you're okay. I used to put everybody else first. Every staff member, every client, every business ahead of my own needs. And everyone around me had somebody that they could turn to. Me, I only had the mirror. But there was a time I thought being a great leader meant being everywhere and knowing everyone and knowing everything all the time. So I succeeded in hotels, in restaurants, and special events. And I even ran, get this, a strip club. Yep. I ran on the adrenaline, fueled by the stress and the urgency. I genuinely loved the energy, the people, the passion. I loved how things worked, and I loved seeing customers satisfied. And yeah, I even loved the money as well. But it became as a sacrifice to my health, my well-being, my family. I got lost. I didn't have a purpose. I told myself I was thriving because my team was and the business was, but it wasn't the truth. It was like a slow creep after many years of living in such a high-stressed, high-strung environment that I eventually broke. I knew something was not right with me. I just didn't know what it was, and I had no support system to ask for advice, no coach, no mentor, no teacher. I didn't know what burnout was. And I couldn't understand why I was no longer able to handle the stresses of normal business. Something had changed. I didn't want to worry my wife with the truth of how I felt and what was going on at work. So I turned to my boss and said, I need help. I'm not coping and I fear that I'm making mistakes. It didn't go well at all. My ask for guidance and support was met with anger and distrust. Now, I look back now and I don't blame him. He didn't know what to do either. He didn't know how to support me. He was an entrepreneur, a visionary. Isn't this the fear that we all sit with in approaching others, that we're going to be criticized, not supported, and misunderstood, or perhaps even victimized? I fell apart at that point. I quit. I broke down. It was either that I was going to die, I was going to kill someone, or I was going to lose my family. And it was just not acceptable for me. I didn't know what else to do. It was the most difficult decision of 27-year career in hospitality, but yet at the same time, the easiest one to make. But this doesn't have to be your story. See, my world began to unravel right in front of me. I put on a brave face. I wore a mask in front of my family, and I told everybody I was taking a holiday. But it became a pivotal turning point in my life. I didn't have a career. I didn't have a high-paying income with bills being paid at the end of the month. I didn't have the incentives at the end of the year to pay for the holidays and the family treats. It was just me going on a journey of self-discovery, finding out who the hell am I and why am I here? I spent 4 years on a journey of self-discovery, attending multiple seminars, coaching programs. Some were paid, many were free. I got a coach and things slowly started to make sense to me. Now, I've been doing at that point 14 years or roughly around there, coaching, mentoring, speaking. It was sort of like you call it a side hustle. It was a passion of mine. And I'd created many of my own programs. And I suddenly realized this is what I love. So I began to pull all this together to create a program for hospitality leaders who are now where I was then, so that I could be the support, the guide, the mentor that I never had. And the pivotal point of understanding came when I realized that leadership is not by how much you can endure and put up with. It's about how authentic you are to yourself and your team. And authenticity begins outside the stress state that we live in, and discovering your truth of who you really are. So I now teach a different type of leadership, one that starts with presence, with breath, and with being human first. So if you're serious about building teams that thrive, not just survive, you need to lead differently. Now, the how and the what, I'm going to discuss with you on the 27th of May in a masterclass that I'm holding. And I invite you to join me, not only to learn, but to discuss the practical application of what authentic leadership actually means. So let me give you a little glimpse of what's going to happen inside these conversations and what I'm here to share with you. I'm going to share stress release tools that'll work before burnout hits. This helped me with my clarity and peace of mind and become a secret sauce in all my talks and coaching that I do. Breath work. I'll show you tools that you can take to your team and apply in 60 seconds to help them calm when they're stressed or feel more energized and getting vibed during that pre-shift briefing. I'm going to help you identify the warning signs of burnout, not only in yourself, but in your team, and what action to take. I'm going to introduce you to a program I've designed called the Well-Being Curve. It's a structure I've created to understand the silent slide from flourishing to burnout, including what you can do right here, right now, to reverse the slide. And I'm going to share with you my signature Bridging the Gap framework to help guide you from who you are now to who you want to become as a leader. The work you need to undertake needs to be authentic, an inside-out job. So we're going to work on creating the clarity of who you are now to then design that pathway to identify the type of leader you ultimately would like to become. Now, there's so much more that we can discuss. So perhaps we're also going to be talking about how to lead with transparency and authenticity, or the importance of modeling self-care and the benefits to your team when you look after yourself. And what about creating a psychologically safe environment and what this actually means? I know how high the stakes are in hospitality, the margins being tight, the pressure environment, the constant on the go for not only your team, but your clients. Your staff are tired, they're running shifts and doing doubles. But here's the bottom line. Your team's well-being isn't a personal issue. It's a leadership responsibility, and it starts with you and the culture that you create. So here's my challenge to you. Join me on the 27th of May for a live masterclass and discussion where I'm going to share 3 pivotal points to help you right here, right now, and be able to help you find that balance in leadership with your life and that ease and joy that you actually seek. I imagine a world where people thrive because they feel seen, heard, and valued. So picture this. It's a workplace where people don't just turn up to do the job, but it becomes a place where they're transformed through their work. Burnout isn't a badge of honor, it's a warning sign. It's also an invitation for us to all lead differently. So are you ready to lead forward from who you are now as a leader? Click the link below now. Secure your free seat on the 27th of May for this masterclass and discussion to find out what it means to lead authentically and become the leader that you wish you had had. I'll see you then.